After the Royals held the Orioles to 2 runs last night, Ervin Santana takes the ball tonight. In his first start after the break, Santana held the first-place Tigers scoreless for 7 1/3 innings, eventually getting the ball to Greg Holland with the lead. That sounds like a good plan for tonight. Royals baseball is next on Fox Sports Kansas City.
They had a runner on third base with nobody out, and I was completely comfortable.
Royals baseball comes to you from Kauffman Stadium for Game 3 between the Royals and the Orioles, with everybody wearing blue, hoping the game ends with Greg Holland on the mound. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Well, the sentiment was the same with just about everybody after the game last night. There are saves and there are all-star saves, and Greg Holland had an all-star save finishing off the game last night with a tying run at third base with nobody out. He got through it for his 25th save of the year. It was 3 months ago, remember, that Holland was going through a little shaky part of the season, and some wondered if he should continue as closer. Maybe Kelvin Herrera should take over as closer. Well, that seems like 100 years ago, as Holland is 25 out of 27. His ERA is under 2, and opponents aren't even hitting 180 against him. As always, we welcome in Rex Hudler, and with 25 saves this year, Hud, that's 45 in his career. Is that enough to proclaim him one of the best closers in the American League?
No, I don't think so when you mention the whole body of saves. However, he is the new flavor on the block. Okay, for the American League, Mariano Rivera, and who else? Greg Holland. His name's coming up all the time. He's an all-star for a reason. Jim Leyland, the skipper of the Detroit Tigers in their own division as the Royals, picked Greg Holland. That was his only pick off the Royals roster. He did it for a reason, because he's got nothing but outs in his body. He's got great stuff. Starts guys off with fastballs, number 1. That's getting ahead of them, and then finishing them off with 2 lethal pitches. Slider, split finger. Those pitches are very effective, and you see all of these? They're swing and misses in crucial situations to close down the game. Last 3 outs in a ball game are the toughest, especially on the road. Holland is showing he's got nerves of steel. He's a strong guy, and we can't wait to see him back out there tonight.
And there could be more dancing tonight as Ervin Santana makes the start, hoping to get the ball to Greg Holland.
Alex Gordon had a great series in Baltimore earlier this year, but struggling more of late. First 50 games of the season, batting .340 with a .502 slugging percentage. Last 44, batting just .188 with a .269 slugging percentage. Joe Goldberg back here in right field. Ned Yost is giving Alex the day off, not so much because of the struggles, but because he hasn't had very many days off. Didn't have a lot of time off during the All-Star break. It's a very busy schedule coming up, so he'll be back in there tomorrow. So David Logo's over to left field, and you would think maybe Gerard Dyson would be in the outfield, but Yost saying against lefties, batting just .125 this year. So instead, Elliott Johnson gets his first start in right field as a Royal. He has started there before and played some outfield throughout his career, and really the comp on him, according to Rusty Kuntz, as far as the player goes, Willie Bloomquist, a guy that's a super utility type of player. He takes fly balls out here in the outfield every day from Rusty Kuntz. And Elliott's saying it's not going to be gold glove defense out here like Gordon, but he hopes to be tested. I'm Joel Goldberg. Enjoy the game. Royals baseball is coming up next.
Royals baseball is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Play the Powerball and Mega Million Scratchers game to win $100 grand or more. And by your Kansas City Chevy dealer, the official vehicle of the Kansas City Royals. And it was a gorgeous day today in Kansas City. We did not see 90 degrees, which we don't say very often this time of year. Mostly sunny. Very comfortable with the ballpark tonight. The Royals try and take game 3 out of 4 with the Orioles after a 3-2 win last night. Tonight's game is brought to you in high definition by Time Warner Cable, the official TV, internet, and home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals.
Love the pictures here at the K, especially before the game. Balls in the stands, kids happy. Although the one kid, he had his hands covering his ears. I think he thinks maybe the Royals offense is going to come alive and get loud.
Or the music's just really loud. Anyway, here's the Orioles lineup tonight.
Pass out a set of earplugs. Hopefully not with this lineup, though, but with the Royals. But you got McLeod, Machado, Markakis. Okay, these guys are really good 1 through 4. And, you know, the rest of those guys aren't too shabby either. The interesting player for me in this lineup is the DH, Henry Arrieta. He's been a surprise for them. Now, not for Showalter, but he's good. Irvin's going to have to be careful with that guy. Jam him in. He likes to go the other way. Irvin Santana, coming off what I thought was one of his best performances of the year, beating the Tigers. Only gave up 2 hits in 7 1/3 innings. he got to continue that. Keep the ball down. He's really done a great job. He's given up 16 home runs, 11 to right-handers, 5 to left-handers. But recently, he's only given up 3 home runs in his last 60 innings. So stay hot, Irvin. Keep the ball in the yard. And the lineup's a little bit different here tonight. We're seeing Elliott Johnson in right field. Now, Tejada against lefties at third. We've seen that. Elliott Johnson can't wait to throw a runner out with that powerful arm.
Joel was just telling us that, well, he hasn't had a lot of experience out there. He wants to be tested. Some guys move to a new position and are a bit timid. But Johnson wants a chance to throw somebody out. And he has the early challenge at Kauffman Stadium dealing with the remaining sunlight. So he is the only guy in the field still with sunglasses on. And that'll change in another inning.
And another thing that will happen tonight, because the wind is so far pushing in. We don't see it blowing in very often here. That'll help him. It'll keep some balls in. You'll have a chance to catch him. He's got nice speed.
And Johnson will be tested right away. Going to try and cut it off in the corner. And McLouth will be into second base with a leadoff double. And he does that after being down in the count 0-2.
Irvin's been a strike thrower. Sometimes too good. 0-2, that caught too much of the plate. We might want to expand a little bit. Go either outside, inside, maybe even in the dirt. He only has 28 walks in 130 and a third.
And now Machado bunts. Tejada bare hands and throws him out. So it goes down as a sacrifice. And McLouth goes to third with 1 out. Now, something to watch tonight when you consider what the Orioles did to Irvin Santana back on May the 7th. Now, Irvin gave up 3 runs in 6 innings, so a quality start. All 3 of those runs came in the first, and then he was scoreless over the next 5. But what I remember about that game is that they came out swinging. They were going after the first good pitch they saw, and it almost seemed to catch Santana off guard, and then he eventually made the adjustment, and the Orioles didn't score again after the first inning.
Well, when you're a strike thrower, sometimes the offense that you're facing, they know that ahead of time and they're hacking early. So he's going to have to mix them. Still want to throw strikes, but change speeds on them. There's a nice one there.
5 pitches to 3 batters. So they are swinging again tonight as Markakis is out and McLouth is at third with 2 down.
And especially against an above average right-hander like Irvin is this year. He's got a great out pitch, a slider, so they don't want to get to that. They want to get him with the fastball if they can early, and might fall into his trap. Hopefully Irvin can see if he can get Adam Jones, who's got 17 at-bats, 5 hits, a couple doubles in his career off of Irvin.
Fastball for strike 1. And last night, Adam Jones made 19,000 fans here squirm in their seats when he tripled off of Greg Holland in the 9th inning, driving in a run, and then he was at third with nobody out, representing the tying run. But Holland got Davis, Hardy, and Urrutia to get out of it. Nice save by Perez. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And we saw that Salvador Perez, who came in late and spelled George Kataris for his defense, he blocked a ball like that with Adam Jones at third base. And Greg Holland today called Salvi a mountain of a man back there. And that's the truth.
Line to left field. David Lowe is there. So the Orioles did come out swinging again, but they failed to score even with a leadoff double. Ned Yost's post-game comments were, we're going to forget about that game. We're going to turn the page and move on. And boy, did they ever. Taking game 2 last night, 3-2, and holding the Orioles to just 5 hits. Alex Gordon gets a rare game off tonight, so Ned Yost is going to lead off Lorenzo Cain with Miguel Tejada at third with the lefty on the mound, and David Lowe will play in left field.
Love it. Scramble it up. Sometimes it re-energizes a team, especially the players. Wei-Yin Chen, check him out. He's walking his steps off to where his landing foot lands. And Jeremy Guthrie does that. And I just noticed Wei-Yin doing that. So that's a beautiful thing, really, since he has a visual. And he knows how far he can go, and it's a good mark for him. It's not too bad. Pretty good pitcher, as a matter of fact. Defending behind him, Markakis out there in right field. He's been a staple for the Orioles for years. Good player. Solid. He's got a good arm. 5 assists this year. Orioles have the best fielding defense in the American League. 80 career assists in his career. He wants you to run on it. Wei-Yin Chen. Fastball, slider, slow curve, occasional changeups. Deceptive delivery. Sneaky. Pitches inside well, just like that. Lorenzo Cain, we talked about it last night, Ryan. You said he could hit anywhere in the lineup, and I agreed with you. So Ned does too. Says, hey, I'm going to lead him off tonight. In innings that he's led off, he's hit over 300. So we're going to give it a shot.
Yeah, Ned gave us some insight as to how he puts a batting order together when it's a temporary lineup with Alex getting the night off. And that was the stat that he liked, that Lorenzo's batting average is very good when he leads off an inning. He might only do it once tonight, but who knows, the first inning might be the most important inning. Wei-Yin Chen, like a lot of left-hand pitchers, is very tough on left-hand hitters. So that's why he held Dyson out of the lineup and did not lead off David Lowe.
Okay, Wei-Yin catches him looking. He's only given up 3 home runs. 2 to righties, 1 to lefties. You mentioned, Ryan, the left-handed average is only 197. Righties are hitting 273. Sneaky. See, when he starts his motion, he pauses for a couple of ticks, and then he comes home. So there's a little bit of deception there. He's looking to win his 3rd straight start since returning from that disabled list. He had a strained right oblique. He missed a couple of months.
Strike to Hosmer. 2 hits, 2 walks in the series, batting at .285.
That must have been a pretty severe oblique strain, Ryan. Oh, an oblique strain, 2 months. Must have been severe.
Well, if you think about it, he's a left-hand pitcher. It was his right oblique, so that's the part that does all the pulling. So he made that start May 12th at Minnesota. Actually pitched well. He didn't give up any runs in 5 innings. 2 days later, he went on the disabled list, 2-2 on Hosmer. And then since he's been back, I mean, similar to Bruce Chen coming back to the rotation, this has been a boost for the Orioles. 2 starts, 2 earned runs, and 13 2/3 innings after missing 2 months.
Well, if you look at him, he's very smooth once he gets into his delivery, and his arm speed is deceptive. He's got a good changeup. He's got some movement to his fastball. He likes to sink it, but he's smooth. He's call a guy like that pretty sneaky.
Eric Hosmer drives it into deep right field. Gone.
Number 10 for Hosmer. And I just got through saying Wei-Yin can be a little sneaky, but you can't sneak a piece of cheese by Hosmer. That was on the inner half. 2nd home run against the lefty this year. 10th overall in the season. That was a bomb. Nice to see him pull it.
That's the first home run of the series for the Royals. They had 6 home runs when they faced Baltimore in May. Of course, that was at Camden Yards. And now 1-1 on Billy Butler.
How was that a shot? That was a bolt. Brought me out of my seat. Billy Butler, he's 5 for 9. Against Wei In. You want to know how far or how fast that ball left Hosmer's bat? We're going to show it to you right here. Woo. The ball wasn't walking.
Now Billy breaks his bat, but he'll end up with a base hit.
All right, let's check out Hosmer. I know you want to see it again. Let's watch it. I'll try not to muddy it up a little bit, but watch it. He's got a good wide base. The bend, we've been talking about the bend. Okay, he's got a nice little bend right here in his leg. Okay, he got out there, but his hands were quick. Look at that triangle right there. Look at the length of that stride, how long his legs are. Big time leverage there. Hands came, a lot of power behind that.
Strike 2, Salvador Perez. We got the game off, at least most of the game off. He ended up coming on defensively late last night. And he goes the other way. Markakis is back a few steps to make the catch. 2 down. And Butler is back to first base. The Orioles feel like there might be a positive side to Wei In Chen being out, is that he has less wear and tear on his arm. I mean, you take out 2 months of a Major League Baseball season, while some of the other starters might be fading or dealing with a dead arm this time of year. His arm still has plenty of fuel in it. Facing the former Oriole, Miguel Tejada. Fastball for strike 1.
Comes inside a lot against righties. You can look in there. And it doesn't have to be on the plate to hit him. It can be a little inch or 2 inside, but you got to be quick. Tejada shown that. He's got a couple of home runs against lefties. All in the middle part of the plate. He's got 3 overall, does Miguel. And he's 2 for 3 lifetime against Wei In.
Blocked by Wieters. 2-1 on Tejada. And Matt Wieters, similar to Salvador Perez, was not in the starting lineup last night. But unlike Perez, Wieters never did enter the game. That's a tough decision for a manager. You got your hottest hitter, Matt Wieters, but even your hottest hitter needs a game off here and there. Tejada gets it into the left field corner, and McLeod makes the play inside the line to end the inning. Of Eric Hosmer's first 9 home runs this year, 7 have come in games where the Royals have won. What will number 10 lead to? 1-0 KC at the end of 1. Eric Hosmer gives the Royals the early lead with his 10th home run of the year. And now back out on defense with Irvin Santana on the mound. And Santana pitched around a leadoff double in the first inning. Nate McLouth doubled. Manny Machado bunted him to third. And you got Markakis on an infield pop-up. And then Jones on a lineout. 2-0 on Davis, who had 3 RBIs in game 1 and had a chance to at least tie the game last night in the 9th inning with a runner at third and nobody out, and Greg Holland struck him out. 3-0.
Hey, he's a great low ball hitter, so he's looking down there. But that was a perfectly executed spot for him in that situation, and Salvi turned the ball into a marshmallow. And there's a walk. He's a mountain of a man. Is that a North Carolina term?
There are quite a bit of mountains in North Carolina. So if Greg Holland says he's a mountain of a man, then he's a mountain of a man.
I liked it.
Irvin Santana, in his last start against the Tigers, did not walk a hitter until 1 out in the 8th inning. And now leadoff walk to Davis here in the second, pitching to Matt Wieters. For the Orioles, this is game 6 of a road trip. They're 4-1, and Wieters is 11 out of 22 on the trip. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, you know, you talked about it, how Showalter really wanted to put him in that lineup yesterday, but you just can't. You give the guy some rest, but maybe that off day took his mojo away. We'll see. But when you're facing a guy like Irvin Santana, if he's on his game, it's going to be tough to get hits off a guy like that anyway.
Two balls, 1 strike.
That's why you hate to give a guy a rest when he's red hot. But it's the long haul. It's not the short haul.
Two and two. Wieters has 7 hits against the Royals this year, 4 doubles. And the last time the Orioles faced Irvin Santana, they won on May the 7th, a game that they took the lead in the 8th inning. Santana was not on the mound, and it was Wieters with an RBI double as Chris Getz had a chance to turn 2, and the Royals get no outs. So 2 on instead of 2 outs and nobody on.
Yeah, that hurt. Three hopper, and he just misplayed it. Ball came up on him a little bit at the end, but whenever you're turning 2, sometimes your head comes off the ball too soon, and that's what happened. Watch his head come up just a little bit. That ball came up too. Too bad for Irvin.
And now J.J. Hardy with 17 home runs comes up with 2 on, nobody out. Hardy drove in 3 in the Orioles' 9-2 win on Monday. That included his 17th home run of the year. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He's 4 for 13 against Irvin. 2 of those 4 hits are homers in his career.
One and two. Baltimore Orioles 4, 5, 6, and 7 hitters have 20 home runs, 37 home runs, 13 home runs, and then Hardy was 17. The Orioles lead the major leagues with 136. Another chance at 2. And you know Getz is determined to turn this one. So 1-4-3 with Davis going to third with 2 down.
There you go. As long as you get it right the second time. Hopefully Irvin can hold that runner at third from coming home. One hopper right back to Irvin. He took his time a little bit so he could get Getz to second base. Nice turn. Really good feed. That's why the pitcher and the infielders communicate before that happens to let him know who he's working with. There was no mix-up at second base. Escobar knew Getz was covering. That
Fouled
hurt.
away by Urrutia.
That hurt. I don't know if that was in the throat or high up on the chest protector, but that hurt. Ooh.
Looked like it maybe got him on the chin.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yep. See a little cut on the right side of his chin.
You know, even though you have that mask on there, whenever you get up underneath that mask, it can do that. The ball can. But the throat is the biggest area that you got to protect.
All right, something tells me this is going to sting. Ah! I don't know what it was. That looked like something that was going to sting.
Okay, and Salvi, look at him, tough as nails, taking a deep breath. So young kids out there, when your mommy comes to try to help you, take a deep breath like Salvi just did.
Or as the nurse says in the hospital, okay, just a little sting here. Not going to last very long.
See, with that jaw's connected up there too. Salvi's, feeling his temple area. That's all connected. Hopefully he's all right. Look at the surgeon, Nick Kinney, working. It's a head athletic trainer at his finest right there. So keep in mind, that ball's thrown by Irvin, a fastball there at about 94 miles an hour. When the guy just barely ticks it, it picks up speed even.
Now I'm guessing the worst part now is just going to be putting the mask back down on top of that.
No Band-Aid needed.
So 1 strike on Henry Urrutia. He was the DH in game 1, had 3 hits and an RBI and a couple of at-bats late last night. Rookie out of Cuba, and he's down 0-2. Davis walked, and then Wieters appeared to hit a double play ground ball to second base. Chris Getz committed an error, but then Santana picked him up, hitting a comebacker from Hardy. Santana beginning a 1-4-3 double play. And now 1-2 on Urrutia.
You know, they play a great brand of baseball in Cuba. That's their national sport. And these guys that come here are Major League ready. Now they're seeing the world's best here in America, but they're well schooled.
Reaches down and he golfs it to right field. Elliott Johnson at the wall makes the catch. So he didn't have any problems with that drive from Urrutia. And Santana works around the walk and the air. When George Brett, like a man with his hair on fire, came running out of the visitors' dugout at Old Yankee Stadium in the pine tar game after Billy Martin challenged the amount of pine tar on his bat following a home run against Goose Gossage. And George has talked about the pine tar game, I don't know what, 10,000 times, and he was asked yesterday if he ever gets tired about talking about the pine tar game.
It was a positive thing. It's a positive thing. You know, it wasn't a ground ball that went through my legs or a strikeout. It was something that I did good. I hit a home run off one of the toughest relief pitchers in baseball, Hall of Fame guy.
That's one of the toughest things to do. Go deep off a guy that breathes fire and throws fire. And you know what? He's very candid. It never gets old. It might be 30 years, but the passion that George has. And he says, you know what, you got to be known for something, and I'm proud of it. Whatever. Let's go with it. And so he never gets tired talking about it. 21 years, 3,154 hits. More hits than any third baseman in the history of the game.
Now, the reason why he was so angry is because at the moment, or at that time when he was called out, he didn't realize that it was about the pine tar. That was a time when there were several hitters who were corking their bats. Nice play in left field as McLouth retires David Lowe. So George will tell you that when he was in the dugout, he thought Billy Martin was saying that he was using a corked bat, which is the biggest insult that you could give to a good hitter, that you are somehow cheating, and that's why you're getting all of your hits, or in this case, hitting a home run off of Goose Gossage. So at the time, it wasn't there's too much pine tar on your bat. It's you're out because you are cheating. Well, and that's enough to set a guy like George Brett off like that.
That's a great explanation of it.
He is a great storyteller. And in the 15 years that I've been here, I've heard George tell, I'd say, about 3 or 4 stories dozens and dozens of times, and never has he told one of those stories as if he's told it for the 500th time. It's always like he's telling it for the first time. So whoever is asking him to tell the story, he makes it special for them the way he tells it. Escobar is thrown out by J.J. Hardy, and there are 2 down in the second inning.
A lot of amazing things that George accomplished in his career, and I mentioned the 3,154 hits. I asked him the other day, we're talking about bunting. I said, George, how many bunt base hits did you get? He said 2, without even hesitating. I went, what? No way. Why would you bunt when you had that kind of stroke?
And how would he remember that he only had 2?
Yeah,
well, I guess if he only had 2, you'd remember that he only did it twice. 1-1 on Getz.
Nobody likes to make an error, but he's really relieved that a run did not score. Chris Getz.
You get a leadoff walk, and then the defense has a chance to pick up the pitcher because of the walk, but the Royals didn't turn the double play, so then the roles are reversed, and it was the pitcher's job to pick up the defense, which Santana did when he ended up getting a double play. Chen, who gave up a home run to Hosmer in the first inning, hits Lowe, Escobar, and Getz 1-2-3 in the second.
Saved his money.
Here's tonight's Sprint Unlimited Answers poll, and if the season ended today, the Rays and the Orioles would win the 2 wild card spots. So our question for you is, will that stand up? Will both wild card spots come from the American League East? Next closest, Texas, and then after that another team from the East, the Yankees. Last year the Orioles and the Rangers won the 2 wild card spots, with Baltimore winning that 1-game playoff. Ryan Roberts hits it up the right field line. Johnson is on it quickly, and that holds Roberts to a single. Well, Johnson been running all over the place in the first 3 innings, and for the 3rd straight inning the Orioles had the leadoff man on.
Elliot Johnson told me before the game that he's played a lot of outfield in his career. He has his own glove. You know, most utility guys have 3 or 4 different gloves they'll use any particular time. And he said, yeah, I just kind of knocked the cobwebs off of this one here. I've used it a little bit in BP, but he said I really would want to throw somebody out.
We saw him play some outfield in spring training after coming over from the Rays as the player to be named later. Same deal that brought James Shields and Wade Davis to the Royals.
He told me hitting a home run is a very special feeling, but throwing out a runner is second best.
A called strike, 1-1 on McLeod. I don't know if there's a such thing for Ervin Santana, but in looking at the scorecard, he has had 3 high stress innings. He never looks like he's dealing with high stress, but worked around a leadoff double in the first, a walk and an error in the second, and now leadoff single in the third.
Previous pitch, Roberts tried to get a break and go. Slipped, went back. He's got 1 stolen base this year.
Shallow left field. Lowe and Kane are there. David Lowe retires Nate McLouth. 1 away. Start number 20 for Irvin Santana. And as we look at tonight's Toyota League leaders, where he ranks in the American League, walks and hits per innings pitched, 6th best. A little over 1 runner per inning if you combine walks and hits. Walks per 9 innings, opponent's batting average, ERA, innings pitched, all in the top 12 in the American League. There's a lot of buzz at the moment and discussion about the future of Irvin Santana, and the Royals' stance is they want to keep him. They want to keep him through the trading deadline. Jeffrey Flanagan, our columnist at FoxSportsKansasCity.com, has posted a column, and he addressed that situation with Irvin. You can read Irvin's take at FoxSportsKansasCity.com. On the ground to Escobar. Out at second to first. Double play, and the second double play in the last 2 innings behind Santana.
He'll take it. Pitcher's best friend outside of a triple play. He'll love that right there. Beautiful turn.
Sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat is Wayne Gilmore, actively trying to improve children's lives. Wayne was instrumental in bringing Big Brothers Big Sisters to Parsons, Kansas. He has served as the program's president. Wayne also coaches and serves as president of the Parsons branch of the Babe Ruth League. He is an optometrist in Parsons, and his partners provide charity eye care, assisting the Lions Club, Community Eye Clinic, and the See to Learn Foundation, sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at tonight's game. Elliott Johnson, Royals right fielder tonight, takes strike 1. And now Chen misses with a curveball. Starting in right field tonight, it's the 2nd time in his major league career that he has started a game in the outfield, both times in right, and it's the 9th game he has appeared, period, in the outfield. Sweeters makes the play on his bunt, and there's one down in the 3rd.
Well, he's got a couple of hits and 3 at-bats against Wei-Yin Chen. And Ned Yost said that Gerard Dyson's hitting 125 against lefties. He thought he would give Elliott Johnson a chance to play some outfield. And just couldn't quite stay on top of the ball. Got to stay on top. Leaders gets an easy out.
Ball one to Lorenzo Cain. I remind you, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Royals have struggled against left-handed starters this year. Record 9-17. They've hit .263 against southpaws. So they have had their difficulties. Lorenzo Cain, .214 with no homers against lefties.
We talked a bit about this during our radio roundtable today, and that the biggest criticism of the Royals offense this year has been the lack of power, and specifically home runs. I'd say tonight against Wei-Yin Chen, there is no shame at all to just play small ball against him. As Cain lifts it into right center field, Markakis is over to make the play, and 2 down. Now it's a bit ironic because their one run has come on a home run from Eric Hosmer, who comes to the plate now, but that was just the 4th home run allowed by Wei-Yin Chen in 61 innings.
Yeah, so, you know, just try to doink him. Now, a few of the lefties have tried that. David Lowe, Chris Getz, they tried to just lob one out there.
Hosmer got a pitch down and in, a fastball down and in, and hit a line drive into the seats in right field. It's our AT&T U-verse rewind.
Man, and that ball was swung on, gone a minute on contact. It was lasered out of here.
Normally you don't see a home run that low go that far. I mean, line drive home runs like that usually just get over the fence. I mean, they're still going, but they just get over the fence. But the fact that he cleared the bullpen, which is not easy to do. I mean, depending on your angle at Kauffman Stadium, the fence in front of the bullpen and the back of the bullpen, it doesn't look like a very far distance, but it is. So to hit one in the 3rd row behind the bullpen on a line drive, he really got into that one.
Got it all. Home plate umpire Bill Miller. He's a very pitching friendly umpire. As those previous pitches before that, high fastballs, high strikes, was given to Wei-Yin Chen. Got a pretty big zone.
Chops it out to Hardy, and Hosmer is out, and that's the 2nd straight 1-2-3 inning for Wei-Yin Chen, who has retired the last 8 Royals. Now that guy's committed. And maybe he enjoyed student night tonight. It is Wednesday. Every Wednesday is Ink Student Night and Local Music Showcase. Just show your valid student ID at the box office. You'll get a $7 ticket. And make sure to get here early for drink specials and live local music and the outfield experience before the game. Our next student night is August 7th. And on August 7th, the Twins are in town, and we are featuring the band Grizzly Hand. The best part about reading these promos is when you get to the name of the band. Grizzly Hand will be here on August 7th. I immediately think of a metal band, grunge rock.
Grizzly,
right?
Yep. What? How about the
I
band?
don't think they're an Air Supply cover band. Grizzly Hand.
No.
It's just a guess.
No, I wonder if they're related to Not a Planet.
That was tonight. Not a Planet.
I heard them rocking out there before the game. Sounded good.
Biggest out tonight, perhaps, was Irvin Santana against Nick Markakis. And also J.J. Hardy's double play in the second. And now Santana strikes out his first as he gets Markakis looking, one down in the fourth. Markakis popped to short with a runner at third in the first inning.
Like I said, he's a pitcher's umpire, Bill Miller. And if you're a hitter and you know that, you got to be hacking on pitches like that. If you don't hack, they'll send you back.
Now that's his reputation. And as long as an umpire is consistent, where you go to the plate expecting that, most hitters aren't going to have a problem with it, correct?
I agree.
And for whatever reason, when we went through that 10-year period where the umpires decided the strike zone was the size of a postage stamp, John Hirschbeck always had a reputation of a big strike zone. That ball gets past Hosmer, and Jones took a wide turn, but he will not advance. It was a tricky hop, so it could be scored either way. Jones is at first with one out.
Hosmer had two choices. Either get in front of it, thumbs out, or try to backhand it, and his backhand's pretty good. I don't think anybody's going to argue on that. So it just took a little bit too high of a hop for him. Two different ways he could have fielded that.
And it will be an error on Hosmer.
And I would agree.
But anyway, well, this was when you played. The era I'm talking about was the end of your career. When you went to the plate, you knew John Hirschbeck was probably going to call more strikes than the average umpire, especially during that time, right?
That's right.
So you just knew that. It seems that when the hitters are upset these days, it's when a pitch in a certain part of the strike zone, or maybe even slightly out of the strike zone, is a ball one inning and then a strike the next inning.
And one of the common chirps you'll hear from the dugout is both ways. And if it is both ways, no one complains. Nice play. That's a hot area right there behind home plate for foul balls. You get a seat there, you're almost guaranteed one off a left-handed bat.
I'm guessing that wasn't his girlfriend sitting next to him, because the money move would have been to give her the ball, right? Not put in your cup holder in front of you. Heck of a play.
Yeah, they reached right over. Could be a sister. Maybe he said, "Oh, that's mine. I'm going to keep it." Great catch. He deserves it.
2-2 on Chris Davis. Davis walked leading off the second inning, and then Wieters reached on an error, which easily could have been a ground ball double play, but Santana then got a double play from J.J. Hardy, a fly out from Urrutia, and the Orioles were scoreless. And now he chases a pitch in the dirt and strikes out, and that's the second strikeout of the inning for Santana.
Low ball hitters look for the ball down. So we saw Holland get him on that last night, same pitch, and Irvin gets him here.
So it's Wieters with a runner at first, 2 down. And he's after the first pitch, and he launches it into deep right field. Johnson climbs the fence, but it is gone for a 2-run home run. And Matt Wieters' hot streak continues.
Hosmer was hopeful. His error didn't allow a run to score. And it ends up ball down the middle. Elevated, too. That's a mistake. But hitter's got to be able to put the wood on it, and he did.
Slider for a strike to J.J. Hardy. So that means Wieters is 12 for his last 24.
After a guy hits a home run, he goes back in the dugout. Most questions are, what was it? They all want to know, what was the pitch? Sometimes you don't know.
I was going to ask you that. Did some teammates will tell you exactly where it was, the quality of the pitch, the type of pitch it was, and some hitters will say, you know, I don't know. I don't remember.
That's right. Oh, I just couldn't tell. Just try to put up a good swing on the ball if you get underneath it. Elliott Johnson working on his leaping ability. No chance.
Hardy pokes it into center field, and Kane makes the play. So 2 home runs tonight. Eric Hosmer for the Royals, Matt Wieters for the Orioles, and Baltimore has a 2-1 lead to the bottom of the 4th. In the 9th inning. Fair hand. Well, Royals fans, if you want to be included in a Royals TV commercial, go to Royals.com/photo challenge to submit a photo of your Royals pride. Each week, we request a different themed photo to submit, and fans with winning photos will be included in the commercial and then recognized on field at a Royals game. All photos must be submitted by August 9th, so make sure to check out Royals.com/photo challenge today. So Wei-Yin Chen is now pitching with the lead. With 1 out in the first, Eric Hosmer homered, Billy Butler singled, and now he's retired the last 8. Billy cracked his bat and singled to left field in the first inning. Billy normally just wears out the Orioles, and especially in Baltimore. Those dimensions are just built for his swing, but they have pitched him tough this year as Hardy throws him out. 1 down in the 4th inning. Billy now just 3 out of 20 against the Orioles this season after hitting .400 against them last year.
Wayans retired 9 in a row. Royals batter got to change that.
Sal flied to right in the first inning. Got a cut on his chin. You can see the red mark. That was on a foul ball early in the game.
It's an abrasion.
Well, they put something on there that dried it up pretty quickly. Davis goes into foul ground and makes the play for the second out. On the radar gun tonight, Wei-Yin Chen, Irvin Santana. Chen 94, Santana 96. Remember, you can download speeds up to 50 megabits per second with Time Warner Cable Ultimate Internet. You know, it's interesting watching Chen. He never really pitches out of the windup. He will start in the windup position, but his first movement is to go to a stretch position and then he stops. As Tejada hits it up the right field line, slicing and just foul.
You know, we watch Miguel talk to himself a lot when he's up at the plate in the field. I can guarantee you he was talking to that ball. Fall now. Too much air underneath it. Just sailed. Foot past the line. Yeah, you know, Ron, you mentioned Wei-Yin Chen's windup. There's some deception to that. I mean, a hitter tries to get himself ready. Okay, you see Miguel taking his practice swings, and then once the guy starts his windup, sometimes messes you up. And obviously, Wei-Yin Chen is messing up a lot of the Royals right now.
11 in a row knocked down by Chen. Irvin Santana back to the mound with Baltimore leading 2-1.
Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium, and yes, the 30th anniversary of the Pine Tar game, and George Brett is here, and he's not the only one that is here in this ballpark that was at that game, and of course a lot of people remember that. First pitch swinging for Henry Urrutia, and he is going to fly out to David Lowe in left field. And here in the stands right now and visiting with a couple that was actually at that game at Yankee Stadium, Royals fans who were living in New York at the time, David and Tammy Smale, and you guys were there for a reason, although you didn't really know exactly what you were getting into, but it ended up being a memorable day. Tell us why you ended up coming to that game.
Well, a couple of months beforehand, I asked Tammy what she wanted to do for her birthday, and she said, let's go to a baseball game. We looked at the schedule. Yankees were playing the Royals, so we said, let's go.
Okay, so you end up going, and nice birthday present, right? But did you ever think that you would end up seeing a game that, well, would end up being that memorable?
No. It was, any game we went to was really exciting. A Yankees game because all the people are always really busy, and sometimes there's fights that break out, so it's always eventful to watch. But I never thought it would be anything like that.
All right, so David, you had some connections and a connection through Gaylord Perry. So tell us about that and then kind of what transpired late in the game that would cause some people maybe to want to leave.
Well, my uncle was Gaylord Perry's agent, and so we asked Gaylord for tickets, and we ended up sitting next to Gaylord's uncle. And after Willie Wilson made the second out in the top of the ninth, he started to collect his stuff. I said, where are you going? He said, game's over. I'm going to try and beat the rush. I said, don't go anywhere. UL Washington's going to get a base hit. Martin's going to bring in Gossage, and Brett's going to hit a home run. He said, okay. So he sat back down. And then the first pitch, Brett hit it about 3 inches foul down the left field line. He looked at me, and I said, hey, it looked fair. And so he took a ball and then hit the next one out. And the place went quiet except for the three guys sitting in front of us who were Mike Armstrong's brothers. Mike Armstrong was from New York City. He was a Royals relief pitcher. That was going to be his first major league win. I didn't predict what would happen next, though. When George was coming around third, Tammy said, what's Billy Martin doing? I said, he's going to protest something. That's what Billy Martin does. I said, what's he protesting? I said, hey, he's going to say George has cork in his bat. She said, does he? And I said, no. Then he laid the bat across the plate and said, now what's he protesting? I said, well, he's going to say George has too much pine tar. I said, does he? And I said, well, yeah. I said, well, what if the ump agrees? I said, watch out. And as I said that, McClellan pointed to Brett, signaled that he was out, and the stadium just erupted.
And all these years later, George is still talking about it. And so, Tammy, you'll always know. And look, there are probably plenty of people that say, oh, my birthday was on the Pine Tar date, but you were actually there. So happy birthday, and hope you're enjoying the 30th anniversary of that special day.
Oh, thank you very much. I am enjoying this. Thank you very much.
All right, great to have you guys back here. George is here. And David says that George has said to him before, oh, you were at the Pine Tar game? So was I. Great to have the Smells here. 30 years later, we've got more Royals baseball coming up. 2-1 Orioles.
Royals baseball is brought to you by Panera Bread. Try pasta the Panera way. Live consciously, eat deliciously. By Ford, see the new F-150 at your Midwest Ford dealer today. And by ATT Uverse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PICK-ATT. Rethink possible. Wei-Yin Chen has retired the last 11 Royals. Royals had a home run from Eric Hosmer with one out in the first inning. And the Orioles got a 2-run home run from Matt Wieters in the fourth. And David Lowe is down 0-2 on just a beautiful night. What a great day in Kansas City today. Upper 80s, sunshine, nice cool breeze out of the north. It's a perfect day to be outside.
Did you know that July 24th is typically the hottest day in the Kansas City area?
I would believe it. And the way it felt over the weekend, we were headed in that direction.
You know how I found that out as David Lowe took that pitch on the outer half? Is this morning. It was one of the best days I've ever had in my time here in Kansas City. It was a great event in Olathe, at Olathe Northwest High School. The Miracle League field was dedicated, and it was really special. Great contingency by the Royals. Billy Butler was there. Greg Holland showed up. Steve Jeltz, Jamie Bloomer, Montgomery, all of us were there in the front row to see this field dedicated. And congratulations goes out to Olathe for allowing special needs kids to play on their own synthetic field, kind of like the K out there, the little K. And it was a wonderful event.
Escobar snaps the string. So after Chen retires 12 in a row, Escobar is on with one out in the fifth inning.
Toby Cook emceed, the Vice President of Community Affairs and Publicity. He emceed it. It was a really well done. We had shovels out there, you know. It was really professional, but just to see the joy. And there was a lot of special needs kids there that were just giddy because they love to play baseball too, Ryan, just like any other typical kids. But for them to get their own field gives them significance. It makes them feel special, and they are. Great job, Olathe. City Council, the people there take care of the field, and they're going to build it.
Well, if Ned Yost wanted to do something here, he has the right guys on base and at the plate.
Lots of times the manager will put a hit and run on just to kind of jumpstart. There's a little step-off move by Wei-Yin.
Gets flied to left in the second inning. Sprained his left knee in the game on Saturday and had to come out early. And we were worried it was worse than that. So he was out of action on Sunday and on Monday, and then 1 for 2 with a walk, a sac bunt, and 2 stolen bases last night. At the knees for a strike, 1-1.
Chris Guest hitting .297 against lefties. It's one of the reasons why Ned said, hey, I'm going to let him go.
And he got that call.
Okay, anything like that here with 2 strikes, you got to be hacking.
Two and two. We haven't seen a great move yet from Chen, but he's done a good job of varying his times in between pitches coming to the plate. That's his way to try and slow down Alcides Escobar. Just try and freeze him by coming set for a moment. He hasn't thrown to first yet with a move that has fooled a runner. And Escobar saw that one coming. I think it was Teddy Higuera. Remember Teddy Higuera?
Oh, yeah. Lefty.
Never really picked anybody off. And yet, guys just couldn't get a jump off of him. Didn't throw to first very often, but just did a good job of varying the time in between pitches, and that was his way of slowing down the running game. Still time to sign your kids up for Slugger's Blue Crew. Brought to you by the Learning Quest 529 Education Savings Program. You'll receive a gray batting practice jersey, a Royals hat, blue wristbands, ticket vouchers, priority access for the Sunday Fun Run, and much more. And membership is just $25. Escobar trying to take a little bigger lead. He's leaning towards second base, not running, as Getz pops it up. Machado wants it, and Hardy says, I've got tenure, so he brings it down, 2 down.
Hey, you know what? I asked Machado before the game today. You play in that hole at shortstop more than I've ever seen a third baseman. You do that on your own? He goes, yeah, pretty much. They don't tell me. I just move according to the hitter. But he wanted that ball, but shortstop's got priority over him. Almost did a little Beltre on it there. 21 years old.
With a smile on his face, as if he's suggesting, okay, I know my place, and I'm okay with it. Elliott Johnson tried to bunt for a base hit in the third inning and popped out to the catcher Wieters. One and one.
Well, Matt Wieters, he's really good catching throwing. He's nailed 15 to 38 for a 39.5 percentile, which is really good. Anything over 30 is good.
Again, nothing special with the move. Wei Yin Chen. He is from Taiwan. Pitched for the Olympic team in 2004, 2008, and played 5 years in Japan before coming to the Orioles. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And we were talking about his motion, his windup motion earlier. And you played a year in Japan, and we've seen enough Japanese pitchers come over to the United States where it's very common to have some sort of hesitation, some sort of gathering point in the middle of the windup.
Yep, it's all about deception. It's trying to deceive the hitter. And they didn't have a lot of power arms over there. So they were really into tricking you.
And Chen makes a nice leaping backhand play and throws out Elliott Johnson. So he's retired 14 of the last 15. It has been a well pitched game so far, with Baltimore leading 2-1 at the end of 5.
Davis out, which was big. You got a mountain of a man back there behind the plate to block it. He did that, which makes it a lot easier knowing that the time run on third, you can still throw it in the dirt and he's going to go get it. And then after that, you got to get ahead and hope you get a few ground balls because we got a good defense. And, Moose and Haas were pretty solid on the corners, and luckily enough, they hit it right at both of those guys, and we got out of it.
So that's part of an interview with Jeff Montgomery and Greg Holland before the game tonight. And Monty joins us in the booth now. A mountain of a man, and not just a guy who blocks balls in the dirt like Salvador Perez, but a nice big target. What was your biggest target as Royals pitcher?
Well, I think back Sal Fasano was a real big target. As a pitcher, a lot of times you're kind of focusing on those shin guards the catchers wear. You want to be somewhere between those, and that's a pretty big target to hit if you got a guy like Salvador Perez or Sal Fasano behind the dish.
And I think that's the genesis of the catching position for a long time was usually a big guy, right? Not very mobile, but it presented a big target for the pitcher, and it was hard to throw one through him because he was such a big guy.
Right. If you can keep it between the rails, the larger the rail, the easier chances are of keeping it between there. So you're exactly right.
No swing on appeal to first base umpire Todd Tishner. 2-2 on Manny Machado.
Monty, you played against Lance Parrish before.
Absolutely. He was in spring training with us actually 1 year as well.
With the Royals?
Yes.
So that's a mountain of a man.
That was a big man. He was a big, strong man, the big cat.
Into left center field. David Lowe with a nice running play. Seems to make nice running plays wherever Ned Yost puts him in the outfield. He's playing in left field tonight with Alex Gordon. Getting the night off, one down in the sixth. I remember when Gil Mesh signed with the Royals. Now, he did get a big contract with the Royals, bigger than any other team was offering him as far as we know. And yet one of the first things he pointed out during his press conference was he looked forward to throwing to John Buck, who was a big target. He liked bigger catchers behind the plate.
Yeah, and it's always an asset, especially we saw Greg Holland last night be able to bounce that ball, and Salvador Perez, as we know, does such a great job. And as a pitcher, when you have a guy back there that can almost be that primary backstop to stop the ball from going to the real backstop, it's a real advantage for a pitcher.
Nick Markakis has popped to short. That was a big out for Santana in the first inning. That was with a runner at third and one away, and then Irvin struck him out looking in the fourth. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two and one. I won't ask you to name names, but were there catchers, because you had a hard biting slider, were there catchers where you would say to yourself, you know what, I can't throw my A slider right here because there's a runner at third and I'm not sure he's going to block it? I mean, did that ever enter into your mind?
Well, there were 2 catchers, and I'll name names, Pat Borders and Chad Kruger, guys I was really afraid to throw a ball in the dirt to because I didn't know if they were going to be able to stop the ball. They were both really good catchers. In fact, I think one of them possibly was a World Series MVP at one point in his career, but as far as defensively, I just didn't have that confidence.
Just got to look at Jason Kendall. Finished his career with the Royals, still in the Royals organization, watching from one of the suites tonight as Markakis singles with 1 out. And now we get into the middle of the order, and Adam Jones, Chris Davis coming up. Because you hear pitchers say the other side of that so often, as Greg Holland just did. I mean, I know I can throw it in the dirt because Salvador Perez is there. Or I know our defense is good, so I'm not afraid to throw the ball over the plate because chances are they're going to make the play. But you never hear about a pitcher saying the opposite. You know, I felt like I couldn't give it my all on that pitch because of the catcher, or I just didn't feel comfortable throwing a strike because the defense is poor.
Yeah, and I always felt comfortable with my catchers. You have to have conviction when you throw that pitch that if you're going to throw it, you have to know the guy's going to catch it. And 2 guys that caught me a lot, Mike McFarland and Brent Main, guys that were always technicians behind the plate, felt confident throwing the ball anywhere, and they're going to make sure they stop the ball. And neither one of those guys were real big guys, but they were very good technically behind the plate.
Perez to first, and Markakis is back just barely. 0-2 on Jones.
Salvi's quick. Love the tag. Watch this. Dropped it right on his elbow. Slap the tag on the guy. Let him know he was tagged. Right on his hand.
Escobar, he's got it. Gets bare hands, no double play, but a nifty play up the middle. First of all, Escobar to get to it, and then Getz had to grab it out of the air with his bare hand, and the Royals get the lead runner.
One for sure, that's all you want. They almost turned two. But Jones, impressed how the guy goes 90 feet. He runs hard all the time. Sometimes when your momentum's going that far to right field, that backhand flip there can be off the line a little bit because of your momentum. But Escobar, he's extremely talented. Good hands, people.
So now it's Davis with a runner at first, 2 down. And of course, he was the big out last night, Monty, to get the momentum going for Greg Holland when Davis struck out. You know, I don't know how much this means to Greg Holland, but for me, and this has been talked about quite a bit last night and today, I mean, there are saves and then there are all-star saves. That was an all-star save from Greg Holland last night, shortly after being named an all-star. So a turning point, I don't know, maybe that's too strong. We'll see. Did you have a turning point save, a situation like that where you dealt with it much calmer than you did maybe in a previous outing?
Well, it's so long ago, I can't remember back that far, but I tell you that a bat against Davis last night, certainly once he got that out, I think everyone in the house felt a lot more comfortable about him getting through that inning.
Popped up. Tough time of night where it's easy to lose it in the sky, but Kane sees it, and that's the inning. So Irvin Santana has given up 2 runs, 1 earned over 6 innings, and the Royals are down 2-1.
The game break to Seattle, Cleveland, and the Mariners. Michael Bourne, first career grand slam, and it is all Indians in this one. 10-1 final that actually ends Seattle's 8-game winning streak. Another note from that game, or at least that team, guys, and want to pass along thoughts to Mariners manager Eric Wedge, who had missed a couple of games, went into the hospital with some dizziness. He's been released, and doctors believe that he suffered a mild stroke, and they expect a full recovery. That's the reports that I have read and heard out of Seattle. Expect a full recovery. He's going to miss the rest of the series and not travel with them out to the East Coast, just to make sure that he can rest and get that recovery. But our best wishes to the former Wichita State Shocker, Eric Wedge.
All right, thank you, Joel. Lorenzo Cain, who is leading off tonight, leads off an inning for the second time. He's down in the count 0-2. Was it last year or the year before when Dusty Baker suffered a mild stroke, and it happened in the hospital?
Last year, I think.
Mary Nichols is our Sonic Slam inning contestant from Leavenworth, and if the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Mary wins $1,100. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Mary wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. Lorenzo Cain has one of the Royals' 4 grand slams this year, and his was a Sonic Slam. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Royals scored first. They got a home run from Eric Hosmer in the first inning, and the Orioles got a 2-run home run from Wieters in the 4th. And I said that Santana's allowed 1 earned run tonight. It is actually 2 unearned runs because of the air, as Cain flies to Markakis for a second time tonight, and he's the first out of the 6th inning. Here's tonight's AT&T trivia question. Which former Royal and which future Royal played for the Yankees in the Pine Tar game? A former Royal and a future Royal played for the Yankees in the Pine Tar game.
Any ideas? I have one. I don't know if it's right.
Throw it out there.
I don't want to throw it out there yet. I think it might be a pitcher.
Go ahead, Monty. Let's use you while we have you up here, please. We're glad you're up here.
Steve Rinko, one of those guys?
It's good enough for me. Eric Hosmer hit a line drive home run to right field that cleared the bullpen in the first inning. Grounded to short in the 3rd. Very high in the air to the left side, and again, it's a tough time of night, and McLeod picks it out of the overcast for the second out. So that would have been the former Royal, right? Or was that before he went to the Royals?
Oh, I misunderstood the question. I thought it was somebody who was on both of them. It was involved on both sides.
Is that 2 different guys we're talking about? Which former Royal and which future Royal? So there was a guy who had played for the Royals on the Yankees and a guy who eventually would play for the Royals on the Yankees. They each appeared in that game. Steve Rinko, we are told, did not appear in that game.
Quisenberry.
No, he was with the Royals at the time. Did you see the final out of the game? You can't beat fun at the old ballpark.
Uncle on the question.
Yeah. Can we put the question up again one more time?
No. Let's just get another question. Okay. Please.
Which former Royal and which future Royal? So there were 2 Yankees, Hud. Fouled away by Billy Butler. There were 2 Yankees in pinstripes that game who appeared. One of them had played for the Royals, and another one would eventually play for the Royals.
Oh, okay.
Dan Quisenberry was playing for the Royals in that game. So was George Brett.
Right.
John Wathan, Frank White, Hal McRae, UL Washington. Bud Black. Just over Machado and up the left field line. And Billy Butler will end up at second base with 2 down. Just the second hit for the Royals since the first inning, and it puts the tying run in scoring position.
Hey, team leading. 19th double. Just got it over the tall Machado, the third baseman, who almost grabbed it. That's a ball that should have been hit.
That was a mistake. One of the few we've seen him make tonight.
Well, this is where Salvador Perez has thrived this year. He is hitting .365 with runners in scoring position. And I think he has that ability that George Brett has talked about, and that just take what the situation presents to you. 2-run home run would be great right now. Double would be great, but Sal has been so good at just kind of flicking the ball to the right side with 2 outs and runners in scoring position just to get the run in. Down and in, 2-0.
Been coming inside on righties. You either look in there or you take it and look out over. Sometimes you make up your mind. And now being the 3rd time through the order, you've got a pretty good idea what he's got, what he's trying to do to you.
There he goes the other way. Markakis is back, and Perez just didn't quite get it. So Butler is stranded at second base. We've played 6. It's still 2-1 Baltimore. Royals baseball is brought to you by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com. Feels a lot more like May 24th than it does July 24th. Now, Hud, you got a handle on this one now?
No.
Okay. How about Lou Piniella? Would that have been the former Royal? Now, I don't know if he played in that game. That's the key. They had to appear in the game. 2 Yankees that played in the Pine Tar game. One had played for the Royals. One would eventually play for the Royals. 1-1 on Matt Wieters. He's the difference in the game right now. A 2-run home run with 2 outs in the 4th inning, which resulted in 2 unearned runs allowed by Santana. And over Getz for another base hit. Man, Matt Wieters is 13 for his last 25. And even when he doesn't hit the ball hard, he gets a base hit. All right, well, we discussed this off air. And my question was, when did Steve Balboni come to the Royals? He was here in '85.
Bonesy.
So Steve Balboni. That would be the future Royal. Lou Piniella was the former Royal. Hosmer makes a play in foul territory. J.J. Hardy is 0 for 3. So Irvin Santana has given up 2 runs, 5 hits. Again, both the runs are unearned. Baseball is such a streaky game, we know that. And the Royals had tied a franchise record by going 11 straight games without an error. And now they have committed 4 errors in their last 3, which has resulted in 4 unearned runs. And every team is going to go through spells like that. Chris Getz has an error tonight. Eric Osmer has an error. But whether you subscribe to them or not, most, if not all, of the advanced metrics today not only say that the Royals are the best defensive team in baseball, but that it's not even close as far as their range and the runs that have been saved because of that range.
Perfect.
Escobar had to retrace his steps to get back to second base, and that is the 3rd double play turned behind Irvin Santana tonight. So that gives the Royals a lift as they come up in the bottom of the 7th inning, down by 1. Okay. Two-1 Orioles to the bottom of the 7th inning. A duel with Irvin Santana and Wei Yin Chen. Well, make sure to take advantage of the 4 for $44 deal from the Royals and Taco Bell. You get 4 tickets to a game, 4 Royals hats, and 4 Taco Bell Doritos Locos Tacos Supreme coupons, all for $44 plus tax. And this package is good for any Royals home game while supplies last. Get your tickets at the Kauffman Stadium box office or by going to royals.com/Taco Bell. So Wei Yin Chen, he has retired 17 of the last 19 Royals, and he throws a strike to Miguel Tejada. Eric Hosmer homered in the first with 1 out. Then Billy Butler singled. Chen went on to retire 12 straight. And Escobar broke that up with a single in the 5th inning. Escobar line drive into center, and that drops in front of Jones for a base hit. Excuse me, Miguel Tejada with a base hit into center field. With Lowe and Escobar coming up, so Miguel Tejada is 1 for 3.
Okay, either get his pitch count up so he can get him out of the game, or do that. Start hitting him around a little bit. Make that bullpen stir out there. Bring in somebody else, because Wei Yin, he's been really good, but hasn't made too many mistakes.
The Orioles think that Lowe is going to bunt. Machado is way in on the grass, and Lowe shows bunt and takes ball 1.
Okay, so the hitter, he sees a third baseman in, first baseman back, holding on Tejada. Going to try to bunt it to the first baseman. If you can, or, you know, if you just lay a nice bunt down that line there on the grass, that would work. But you have to be fine to do that. There's another way you don't have to, down the first baseline.
Swinging away, and he hits it up the right field line, and he was just out in front. You just mentioned that last night, Hud, that when a hitter shows bunt, either if he tips his hand when a pitcher throws to first, or he actually shows bunt, that some managers then will take the bunt off and let him swing away.
That was the case, except it was a changeup. If it was a fastball, he'd have doubled down that line, but he was out in front a little bit, tried to control it in there, but it was the right pitch, the right time for Chin.
And oftentimes, I know as a pitcher, if I see that guy square around and give away the bunt too early, I'm going to throw a fastball because I think that's the hardest pitch for a guy to bunt.
Swinging again, and Lowe fouls it back into the net. So maybe the Orioles saw that coming, and that's why Chen went with a change. Because if you're going to bunt, is there an easier pitch to bunt than a changeup? I mean, there's no tilt to it.
Yeah, no, that's an easy one to get down.
So maybe Chen and the Orioles felt that Lowe would swing away, so he threw him a changeup. Chop to Hardy. They get the out at second base, and no double play, so Lowe is on with 1 down. And now Alcides Escobar, who's 1 for 2 with a single. You know, I don't know if it's a power changeup, guys, but Chen doesn't necessarily, at least Wei-Yin Chen doesn't seem to have the changeup he's thrown tonight necessarily a swing and miss changeup, just to break up the timing type of a changeup.
Right, he's not a swing and miss type pitcher. I think in his last start there were only 5 strikes that were swing and miss type strikes. So he's going to pitch to contact. And really, you're playing in his game when you're swinging at pitches that are kind of on the edge. And he just hasn't made a lot of mistakes over the middle part of the plate tonight.
Now our Chen, Bruce Chen, has, I mean, you talk about guts. Just the ability to slow things down in tense moments. And Ned Yost has told the story many times that when he was coaching with the Braves, he would ask Greg Maddux, you know, how do you get out of those spots time and time again? And his response was, well, I just play by a very simple rule. The more intense the moment is, the more loud the crowd becomes, the softer I throw. It's a lot easier said than done, isn't it, Monty?
Well, it is, and I know coming into a lot of times, a lot of ballparks as a closer, you're going to have these loudometers that come up on the scoreboards, and they try to get this place as loud as they can possibly go, and you have to take a step back at times and just kind of really make sure you don't fall into that trap and get too energized about it. I do remember one game when I was pitching in the old Comiskey Park, and it wasn't the noise that got to me, but they'd given away white seat cushions that day, and they started clapping these white seat cushions, and it was like this big, just like a big fog of ghosts in the background. So it wasn't a noise, it was the white seat cushions.
And Escobar grounds it to Machado, who boots it, throws late. I don't know if that was a double play ground ball, but the Orioles were going to get at least one. Instead, the tying run is at second base, and Escobar is on at first.
That ball hopped up on him at the last minute. Okay, he's positioned himself to turn 2. Ball bounces up a little bit higher than he thought, hit off the heel of his glove. Still has a tremendous throwing arm. I mean, he almost got Escobar, who was running hard down that line.
Saw him make a play just before the All-Star break down the third baseline where a ball was kind of like that, and he turned and snapped the thing up and threw the guy out at first base. He's got amazing hands.
I remember we showed that replay when we were in New York. I think it happened the day before. Zoilo Almonte. And the look on his face when he realized he was out at first after he saw Machado kick it into foul ground and still threw him out. Oh, and 2. Here you go. Thanks to associate producer Sam Abramson.
Rex, he's got skills.
Oh, Monty. I've never seen a play like that.
Actually, it was Luis Cruz was the runner.
Hey, look at.
Are you kidding me?
That's beautiful. Hang with him.
Another ground ball out at second, and the Orioles turn a double play this time around. Monty, we'll see you in Boulevard Royals Live. Wei Yin Chen has given up 1 run in 7 innings.
Thanks, Monty.
Weaver shuts out the Twins. Told you about Cleveland and Seattle a little while ago with Michael Bourne's grand slam. Other action, Toronto beating the Dodgers 3-2. They had a slugfest up there at Rogers Center last night. Tampa Bay continues to roll, and Detroit 6-0 over Chicago. Our Mazda game break takes us to that game break. We'll show you that in just a little bit. Prince Fielder homered in that. Guys, do want to let you know also in the National League, Tim Hudson suffered an injury tonight as he was playing, heading over to first base to catch the ball from the first baseman on a put out, and was stepped on the back of his ankle by Eric Young Jr. Was down for a good 5 to 10 minutes and carted off. And so the game's winningest right-hander, active right-hander, all-time wins, was down, out, and carted off, and really gruesome as he was stepped right on the back of his ankle and it turned over. And so one of the good guys in the game, and somebody you don't always think about a whole lot when you talk about winningest pitchers. The only guy with more wins among active pitchers is Andy Pettitte.
And I'm surprised that doesn't happen more often, because pitcher really can't keep an eye on the runner. I mean, the runner's kind of coming up behind him.
You're right. That's a play that you see every day. Pitchers covering first base. And speaking of injuries, we talked about Brian Roberts in game 1, how many surgeries and bad injuries this guy's had. Now, this was early in the season. Okay, against the Rays, and he came up and he felt something pop. Okay, and it was in the backside of his knee, and it turned out to be a hamstring tendon. And what happened then is it rolled up in a little ball. He tried to play through it, and it just stayed there. And he said it wasn't getting any better. So they went in there and looked again. They said, you know what? We just need to take that tendon out. So they made a big scar. He showed me the other day. It's probably about 4-inch scar, and they removed the tendon. So he's playing without a tendon.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, I guess that would explain why he was able to come back as quickly as he did after having surgery, as McLeod singled to left and the Orioles have 2 on with nobody out.
Yep.
So it wasn't like Tommy John surgery where they put another one in there to replace it.
No, they just
take it out.
Made a little incision and took it out, and he showed me the pictures of it.
What does it look like?
It looked like a piece of meat, but it was about 5 inches long, and he said that they clipped it, and they just took it out. That's why he was able to come back so quickly.
Coach Haber warming up very quickly in the Royals bullpen. So 2 on, nobody out, with Machado coming to the plate. 2 runs, 7 hits allowed by Santana. Both of the runs are unearned. Machado had a sac bunt in the first inning, but he was bunting for a base hit. But the Royals, they are playing in on the corners, and there was a mix-up on defense as that pitch came in. As Escobar ran to second for a pickoff play, and Santana threw to the plate. So there was nobody on the left side of the infield. Almost nobody.
Yep, sometimes this happens. It's a timing issue, and typically when a pitcher sees a shortstop or second baseman break behind him, he steps off to give the guy time to get back to shortstop. Machado, he's like he wants to move the runners.
Two balls and no strikes. No base hits with runners in scoring position. Eric Hosmer has hit a solo home run, and Matt Wieters hit a 2-run home run in the 4th with a runner at first base. Two and one.
Machado was hoping for a fastball that he could handle after squaring the bunt.
Urban Santana in his first start in the second half on Friday went 7 1/3 innings. He has gone 7 tonight. And now Machado shows bunt, and he was able to pull the bat back in time. 3 and 1. Bunting on 3 and 1, and Santana will elect to go to first base. They may have had a play at third, but Santana went with the more sure out. And now runners at second and third for Nick Markakis.
A good touch. Now, had he turned the throw to third, he would have forced it. You never know what could happen with the throw, but he wanted to get it out for sure. See if he can count on the strikeout and maybe an easier out to get out of the inning. Let's see.
Urban Santana in his career has been a much better pitcher in the second half. Last year was not a good year for him with the Angels, but he was much better in the second half. Most of the damage was done in the first half. And look at the difference in ERA. The wins are the same. Ned Yost is jogging out, and Santana first turned his back to the dugout because I think he felt like he was coming out and did not want to come out. So what's typically a manager talking about when they make the first trip and it's not a pitching change and he calls in the infield?
That's a situation with first base open that he's going to say, hey, look, what are you've already rolled a couple of double plays. Do you want to put him on and face Jones and take the chance of he hits into a double play, or what do you think? And you can tell by the body language of the manager whenever he runs out. You don't see Ned running out. When he walks out, he's going to take the guy out. So that's what they're deciding to do. They're going to put him on.
Royals have turned double plays in the second inning, the third inning, and the seventh inning. This will be just the second walk all night allowed by Urban Santana. So Markakis goes to first to load him up for Adam Jones. We look at the Vatterott College game summary. Not much scoring. Eric Hosmer right away. 2 batters into the bottom of the first. Hit an impressive line drive home run to right field. Matt Wieters hit a 2-run home run in the 4th, which resulted in 2 unearned runs. And the Royals have turned 2, make that 3 double plays, hoping for 4 right here.
And Ned looked down and saw where Jones is grounded to 10 this year.
Escobar backhands out at second, and no double play. So the run scores. Baltimore takes a 3-1 lead as Adam Jones picks up his 71st RBI of the year.
Almost. Strategy almost worked. Escobar gave Getz a really hard throw, which gave him a chance to turn 2. He threw a rocket to him. Getz was a little bit off balance. Couldn't get as strong a throw as Escobar gave him.
So Chris Davis with runners at first and third, and he takes a strike. One and one. 37 home runs in the first half. That ties an American League record. Reggie Jackson did it in 1969. The Major League record is 39 home runs in the first half, accomplished by Barry Bonds in 01. That was the year he hit the 73 home runs. Jammed him, and Getz runs in from shallow right field and throws out Davis. So the Orioles add a run late. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning with Baltimore leading 3-1. Royals baseball is brought to you by Thoroughbred Ford. For the best deals on new Ford cars and trucks, visit thoroughbredford.com. Well, fans you've known for years that StubHub is a great place to find the seats you want to see the Royals in person. Now they've added StubHub fan rewards. You can earn a little extra with your tickets, like seat upgrades. So head to StubHub and get your Royals tickets today. Elliott Johnson starting in right field tonight will lead off. He's batting 9th, followed by Lorenzo Cain and Eric Hosmer. Royals have 1 run, 5 hits against Wei Yin Chen, and that run was back in the first inning on a home run from Eric Hosmer. This is a 2-run game, but the Orioles were so good last year in the close games, especially the 1-run games, as Darren O'Day gets ready as Chen is coming up on 100 pitches. The Orioles were 29-9 in 1-run games last year. That's the best record in Major League history. And their bullpen was airtight, literally, in the later innings, as Johnson looks at a fastball and strikes out.
Certainly was a good pitch. Let's see where it was. Looked like it's right down the middle of me. Huh.
So Chen tonight at 100 pitches, trying to make it easier on the bullpen. As Kane looks at a strike. On May the 18th, the Orioles lost to the Rays in the later innings, and that put an end to a very impressive streak. Going back to last year, the Baltimore Orioles had won 109 straight games when they had a lead after 7 innings.
Oh, that's pretty much lights out.
So you're basically playing 7-inning games when you have a bullpen like that. Kane goes the other way. Nice easy swing and singles to right with 1 out. That's his first hit of the game.
He wanted it up. He got it up there, but Kane was waiting. Ball traveled deep towards the catcher's glove. And really a nice swing. Something happened here. Hosmer homered once. He certainly could do it again. That was way back in the first inning. Second hitter of the game.
And with 3 right-hand batters coming up after Hosmer and O'Day ready to go, this might be Chen's last batter. Royals' last shot to get him. And Hosmer is the only one who has gotten him tonight. Taking a strike. Well, you'd love to see a home run or an extra base hit, but where Machado plays, and the Royals would like to get some runners in the 8th inning. I mean, if they're going to give him a base, Hosmer doesn't even need to drop down a good bunt to the left side and he'll have a hit.
I think you're right. He was just taking a strike, but he wanted to put it in the back of their mind. He needs to swing the bat here in this situation.
And Machado did come in a few steps. Down and away, 2 balls, 1 strike.
With his power and the way they're down by 2, he could tie it up with 1 swing.
Right center field and deep. Way, way back. Gone for his 2nd home run of the game.
That's why you don't bunt. Hit one to the hydration station. Hosmer took that ball for a drink. That'll wake this crowd up here who is waiting for something loud. That's 2nd home run now of the game for Hosmer. There it was, almost identical pitches to the first home run. And that one there, he got up underneath it and it got a lot more air on it. Dropped it in the fountain. Hydration station. You know where I got that from? Eric Hosmer. was pretty stroke. Nice and easy.
Hosmer ties the game at 3. Pitching change for the Orioles. Royals tonight with a solo home run in the first and a 2-run home run in the 8th. So it's Darren O'Day, and throws a strike to Billy Butler. O'Day very tough on right-hand batters, and you could see the move coming. Wei Yin Chen was down to his last hitter for Buck Showalter was going to go to the bullpen. It ended up being one batter too late. And now O'Day jumps ahead of Billy 0-2. And there are a lot of right-hand batters who have done that against Darren O'Day.
Right, because he's a sinker baller and with a slider from down under. And it's really tough for righties to keep the shoulder in.
Just got a piece of it to stay alive. That angle presents a big challenge to a right-hand batter, but lefties see him very good. He has very dramatic splits as far as what righties do against him versus what lefties do. 1-2 on Billy, who has a 2-hit game. So there you go. Righties hit 153. And lefties are almost 150 points better, more than 150 points better.
Yeah, you see the ball a lot better from the left side, obviously.
That's a second out of the 8th inning. Eric Hosmer's production and batting average goes up with every month. And remember, you can vote for the Royals Player of the Month, sponsored by Majestic and Rally House. Vote at Rally House stores and get a chance to go on field and meet the winning player. And now a strike to Sal. So that was Billy Butler's 11th at bat against O'Day. For Sal, this is just his 2nd at bat. 0-2. Roberts backs up and makes the play in shallow right center field. So the inning is over. But Eric Hosmer hits his 2nd home run of the game. And the Royals have tied the game at 3 as we head to the 9th. promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Man, was that a quick swing. And he met it on the line. With a little topspin on it, too. Now, the second home run, he got some big swing on that, but had a little back underside. Took it for a drink. Beautiful swing. Tied it up. Weigh-in Chin was cruising. We'll have to wait for another day on a decision. Nice piece of hitting. Great to see Eric Hosmer finding the adjustments that he's been making with Griffal and George Brett. Finding a happy medium with that leg kick. Doing a good job. Dyson out in center field. Elliott Johnson's out. They move Kane to right.
And Luke Hochevar is a Chevy call to the bullpen.
Okay, interesting. Sometimes Ned likes to bring Holland in when it's a tie game in the ninth inning, but he's going with Hoch. See what Hoch can do.
And he had Holland warming up side by side with Hochevar. So if the Royals had taken the lead, obviously it's Holland. If not, Hochevar with Wieters, Hardy, and Urrutia coming up. Matt Wieters hit a 2-run home run in the 4th inning against Santana and singled in the 7th. 2 more hits. He is now 13 for his last 25. Fastball is inside, 1-1. So Santana goes 8 innings, gives up 3 runs, only 1 was earned. Big slow curve makes it 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hochevar pitched in game 1 of the series on Monday night. He pitched a scoreless 8th inning with a couple of strikeouts. And in that game, he got Wieters on a fly out to left field. Still 1-2. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Hochevar uses his fastball, slider, and a few curveballs. And doesn't use his changeup or his sinker that often because he doesn't need to. He didn't face as many guys as he did as a starter. Been effective.
3-2 with Hardy next.
God, it's hot like Wieters. You want to make him earn it, but at least keep it down so if he does hit it, hits it at somebody. No free passes this late.
And we'll do it again. David Lowe in left field. And for the second time in 3 nights, Hochevar gets Wieters on a fly out to left.
That's right. Challenge him. Make him put it in play. That's a good job. He's got a powerful fastball.
And here's J.J. Hardy. 0 for 3 tonight. But that's not the worst of it. Not sure he's looking forward to this at bat based on going 4 for 25 against Hochevar in the past.
Well, you
1-1.
Ryan, the competitors that these guys are against relievers, not too many of the hitters know their numbers against relievers. Mainly its focus is on the starter. But Hardy's coming in there. If he did know the numbers against Hoach, he probably remembers he hadn't had that much success off him. But he's going to say, "I'm going to get him now. This is my turn." That's what you have to do to succeed up here.
Pulls it on the ground to short. Escobar throws out Hardy, 2 down. Yeah, it's interesting you say that because I have noticed over the years good hitters who have done very poorly against certain pitchers, and I'm talking about 20 or more at bats. The few hits that they get, oftentimes they're home runs, so that they really don't see the ball that well. They don't swing the bat all that well, and yet they're always waiting for the one mistake, and when they do connect, it's a big hit, as opposed to letting the past numbers defeat them before they even get in the box.
Right. It's a mental game for sure, but what you draw from the numbers most of the time are confidence. And that's the big brother you bring out there to compete in the big leagues. You got to have it.
And Urrutia goes the other way for a 2-out base hit.
4th hit in the series to left field. Got a nice inside-out swing. We haven't seen him pull the ball. He did earlier, and Elliott Johnson ran it down. They say he's got some pull power, but that's on the inner half. Stayed inside out.
And now another good hitter at the plate who's had a bad time in the past against Hochevar. Brian Roberts, he has 2 hits tonight and a run scored. Strike 1. Royals will have Tejada, Lowe, and Escobar in the bottom of the 9th. One and one. As we just saw the Orioles bullpen, Buck Showalter might be doing the same thing that Ned Yost was doing with Mattis, the lefty, Johnson, the righty, warming up. Jim Johnson is the closer. So if the Orioles take the lead, it's Johnson. If not, we might see Mattis in the top of the 9th. 1-2.
Holland's next. You're not going to get your reliever up and warm him up like that and not bring him in, especially your guy.
Still 1-2. Of course, with Tejada coming up, there's always a chance that Buck Showalter leaves Darren O'Day in there for the righty-righty. And then after that, David Lowe and Mattis. If that's the case, Ned Yost could always go to Mike Moustakas to bat against O'Day, and that's probably why Mattis is ready in the bullpen.
There's options.
Managers thinking ahead.
Right, and that's what you do. You got to think an inning ahead or two. But to me, watching Roberts for 3 games now, his bat is quick. He looks like he's running well. His range looks pretty good out there on defense. And obviously, or Showalter wouldn't have him in there 3 days in a row if there was something wrong with it. But his bat looks quick. Watching him run down the line, still has good speed.
Two and two.
Roberts will be a free agent next year. Said he wants to help his team reach the postseason. That's the icing on the cake for all his hard work to get back and at least help the team. They were
They were in the playoffs last year, but he wasn't a part of it.
Urrutia runs, and Roberts pops it up. Getz is out into shallow right, and that's the inning. So Hochevar pitches a scoreless 9. 1 run will win it. Tejada, Lowe, and Escobar coming up.
Come on, boys.
Stays in, and Miguel Tejada will come to the plate. That little guy giving it everything he has.
Love that passion. Look at him. He's into it.
And his dad is not going to prevent him from doing that because, as we all know, a tired child at times can be a well-behaved child. Not all the time.
I can't help it. He's all worked up.
Dad's thinking he's going to go to bed earlier if he keeps it up. So you go right ahead, buddy.
Yeah, now
that's our guy.
That's the beat going now. He's got good rhythm. Tejada's looking for a mistake out over the plate. Right-handers have hit 2 home runs off of O'Day.
1-1 on Tejada. And with that fan celebrating, we want to pass along birthday wishes to a great Royals fan who would love to be here tonight, I'm sure. Jack Weefer, one of our favorites here at the ballpark, turned 17 today. So happy birthday, Jack. He is enjoying the game on TV, watching with family, and specifically celebrating his birthday with his grandparents. So
it's outstanding.
He's probably got his rally visor on too as he watches from home. Happy birthday, Jack.
That's right. Maybe a Royal can do something special in this inning for you, Jack.
Still 1-2 on Tejada. Telling you about the numbers against O'Day for a right-hand batter, and normally aren't very good. Tejada has faced him 3 times, and he's 0 for 3.
He's got 3 homers on the year, 2 against lefties and 1 against the righty. Right here, it'll have to be a mistake with this count.
Staying alive.
You know, I got to give a little shout out to Rob Garcia, to the 10 and under Mackensites Red Sox for winning the International World Series in Florida last weekend. Congratulations, Mackensites Red Sox. 10U, way to go.
Line caught at third by Machado. So now David Lowe comes up. Buck Showalter has the lefty Mattis in the bullpen. And O'Day is going to stay in there. So O'Day goes from a 150 opponent's batting average to a 311 opponent's batting average as he faces a left-hand batter. And throws strike one. Almost hit him.
For
1-1.
For the team. Come on. Take one for the team. Said, I want to get a clean hit. Machado, the third baseman, is in on the grass and way over towards the hole.
Up the middle and off the bag. David Lowe took a wide turn, and he'll hold with a single.
Tell you what, Adam Jones made a heck of a play to center field. He was coming in. And this young man here, he still has hope. He's raising the roof.
That's your kind of guy.
I love him.
Wonder Pup.
I want his autograph. Now look at this. It hits off of his foot, then off of the base, and a guy like David Lowe could take two on that. But watch the center fielder Jones come in. Jones is starting to come in right here. That made the difference there. That held Lowe at first base.
Escobar singled in the fifth inning, 1 for 3 tonight. And he is 1 for 3 in the past against O'Day. So you got good speed at first base. You have a good arm behind the plate. And I would think that this would be the type of pitcher you would want to run on, if that in fact was the strategy. And Escobar high and deep to left field. Back goes McLeod at the wall, leaping, and it's over his glove. Low to third base. He is waved to the plate. Royals win on a walk-off.
Escobar wanted the homer, thought it was deep enough, but scored Lowe, who was standing at second base waiting for either the catch or what to happen. And Eddie Rodriguez said, it's time to score. We got to get out of here. Get this win. Big win right there. Way to go, Esky. O'Day trying to sneak a piece of cheese by Escobar. He thought he got it. He did, and I tell you, it had a lot of height on it. Just not quite enough distance. But Klaus, he measured it all he could. Just up and off his glove. And look at Lowe, bringing the mail home. Beautiful win. Hosmer have a night. Couple home runs. That 2-run homer tied it. And the celebration's on. There goes my fan. Great job, young man. Way to participate. The players love it. He said, Dad, how come that didn't go out of the park?
Oh, man.
Didn't need to, son. Let's go get some rest. We'll come back tomorrow.
Can't beat fun at the old ballpark.
Oh, come back tomorrow. We'll see him try to take 3 out of 4.
Joel, we're taking our time just to allow Alcides and Eric to catch their breath. How are they doing?
Well, they're doing well. We'll let Alcides catch his breath a little bit longer because he just got mobbed out there. Alcides Escobar with the walk-off double, and Eric Hosmer with 2 home runs. All 4 of the RBIs tonight coming from these 2 gentlemen. Now, before I ask you about your home runs, Eric, let's talk about that. Did you think it was gone off the bat, and what was the reaction there in the dugout?
Yeah, we were all thinking it was gone off the bat, and when Nate was holding up at the wall right there, we were just hoping the wind would blow, and then we saw it hit the wall, and D'Lo can fly, so we knew he was coming home after that, and we knew we were going to come back with the victory.
Last night was such a huge win because they were on the doorstep knocking, and Holland closed it out like the all-star closer that he is. But to be able to come back tonight on a night where a guy really seemed to have your number and you have both of those home runs, what does that do for the confidence of this team against that good of an opponent?
We've been in some battles lately this homestand. We've been facing some good teams, and it always helps when you have the home field advantage and you guys behind our backs just feeding up the energy. And like we said, we're not going to fight we're not going to quit until the game's over. And we've showed the character of this team so far, and these are two big wins back to back, and we got to come out and win a series tomorrow and close it out.
All right, last thing. Your 3rd multi-home run game of your career, but both of them coming off of a really good left-handed starter. What were you able to see against Chen?
To be honest with you, I was just trying to make up for that error. It always stinks when you give up an error and then they give up the runs in the next inning. So, the way Magic was pitching, Santana was pitching, he was pitching way too good to get the loss right there. So, I'm just trying to get Kane moving. He can run. So, fortunately enough, I got it in the air and got it out through the hydration station out there.
All right, nice job. Let you go there after hitting it to the hydration station, Eric. Nice job.
All right, thanks, guys.
Eric Hosmer with 2 home runs, and so he tied it up. And this is the guy that wins it, Alcides Escobar, with the walk-off double. First off, did your teammates get you pretty good there? They beat you up?
Yeah, I'm so happy with my second walk-off. I'm trying to put the ball in play. I'm trying to get a base hit, and Guess and the other guy right behind me. When I hit the ball, I say, oh, I got it, and maybe the ball is going.
All right, so you were just trying to get a hit, your second walk-off you mentioned. What did you think right off of the bat? Home run or no?
No, I'm thinking just put the ball in play.
But after, once it was off the bat, once it was up in the air, did you think it was gone?
Oh, yeah. For a moment, I'm thinking, I got like 5 steps, and I'm waiting for the ball. Say, come on, ball, come on, come on, come on.
Well, it did come on. It went just enough to fall in there off the wall for the double. Alcides, congratulations. Great job on the walk-off.
Thank you.
All right, Alcides Escobar gets it done. See, he was rooting for that ball. He was just looking for the hit, as he said, Ryan, and then he was thinking, maybe I did get all of it. Well, it all worked out with the walk-off double. Ryan Hudd?
All right, thanks, Joel. I think we have the video that proves that he thought it was a home run.
I did, too. I thought it was out.
Well, let's take a look at our forward plays of the game. It's game-winning hit set up by David Lowe.
There he is again. He's always making a mark somewhere. That's why he keeps getting in that lineup. But Ned, he's got to put him in there. It's a good thing he kind of held off right there because you don't want to run into an out. Okay, Escobar, and I thought he got it too. Now, when the hitter does that, he usually thinks he got all that. Now, it's been a long time since Escobar's homered, so he doesn't quite have that feel. However, it was good enough. Put a little barbecue sauce on that one, David Lowe. Way to go, buddy. Fire him up.
Royals have at least a split in the series, hoping to take 3.